the game. Joy, I'm going to overreact for a moment if you will allow me the space to do so. I'm going to overreact. These seem like the same old Lakers to me. And the reason these seem like the same old Lakers to me, and the reason I am worried is because in sports, you don't construct a roster to be better than your former self. You construct a roster to be better than the team you have to beat. Let me put this in layman's terms. The Cowboys acquired Stephon Gilmore not just to get better. They acquired Stephon Gilmore because they needed two cornerbacks to match up well versus the Eagles' two receivers in division and in conference. The Cowboys weren't just trying to get better. They were specifically trying to beat the NFC champ. The Lakers this offseason weren't just trying to get better. They were trying to acquire a roster that was capable of beating the Denver Nuggets. And as I watched the game yesterday, I'm like, what got better? The Lakers did get more depth. Shout out Gabe Vincent, shout out Prince, shout out Christian Wood. They got more depth. But is their depth more quality than the Nuggets' depth? Because as I'm watching the Nuggets 3 through 6, I'm still like, man, Porter Jr. I'm still like, man, Gordon getting buckets. I'm still like, man, KCP getting buckets. I'm still like, man, Brown getting buckets. So the Lakers' depth, is it better than the Nuggets' depth? When I think about walking buckets, do the Lakers have a walking bucket like the Nuggets got a walking bucket? Jamal Murray just getting buckets at ease. Meanwhile, Anthony Davis, he didn't score. Second half, fourth quarter. So I believe, unfortunately, that the Lakers will probably wind up in the same situation they were in last year, which is disappointed. It's just one game, I get it. I already told y'all I am overreacting, but I'm reacting nonetheless. Joy, is it the same old Lakers?
Well, if they wind up in the same situation that they were in last year, they're in the Western Conference Finals. So I know they're competing for championships, but that's a good starter goal to get to the Western Conference Finals. I hear you, but to me, if you've got Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and they've got Jokic and Jamal Murray, I'll take that matchup. What I won't take is no points from Anthony Davis in the second half. I actually disagree. I think their role players played well last night.
They did.
Taurean Prince at 18 points, Russell at 11 points, Austin Reeves at 14 points. You go down the line. They were shooting well. They were within the 3 in the fourth quarter. So it's not like this game was completely out of reach wire to wire. It wasn't. What it was is have your stars contribute. He has to contribute more on the offensive ends. The frustration with me is with Anthony Davis. And look, Anthony had some incredible moments last year. He stepped up big time, stayed healthy. He stepped up when LeBron was out. But this is a new season, and we need you to run it back again. And that performance to me last night is indicative of what the issue will be. I can see them matching up with the Nuggets if he contributes, because everybody else contributed. They went, obviously the role players are better, the roster is better for the Nuggets. There are no other Jamal Murrays just walking around for the Lakers to go acquire. I actually like the moves that they made, and like I said, they contributed last night. You can't have a donut in the second half. So to me, last night was less about the Lakers not catching up to the Nuggets roster-wise. It's about your stars have to deliver when you need them. When everyone else is doing their job, you got to do your job, and he didn't.
Let's talk hoops for a second. Obviously, you love basketball. You're very familiar with the sport. The reason I am so perturbed by yesterday, it was too reminiscent of the 4 games in the playoffs.
That's where I'm.
Think about the 4 games in the playoffs. Remember, LeBron James went off for 30 in the first half of a game, but in the second half, he disappeared, and the Lakers lost. Remember the 4 games in the playoffs. Game 1, Lakers cut the lead down, but still lost by a sizable margin. Last night, you made a brilliant point. Lakers cut the lead down to 3, still lost by 12. Last year, the Lakers role players played well in the playoffs, but the Nuggets role players played better. Last night, I think KCP had 20, I think Gordon had 12, and I think MPJ had 15, or MPJ had 12 and Gordon had 15. So as good as the role players for the Lakers played, I'm still like, the Nuggets played better. That's where my, frustration lies. Do you see the same issue as, it's the same thing?
Because the Nuggets are a better team. The Nuggets are a better team right now. The Lakers may develop into that as the season goes on. But, yeah, I mean, we watched the Nuggets last night. I'm like, yeah, you talk about the same old Lakers. It look like the same old Nuggets to me. Jokic's doing whatever he wants, and nobody has anything for him. So, to me, the way to beat the Nuggets has always been, it's not about shutting down Jokic. You're not going to. It's a waste of time and energy. You're not. You just got to hope he has a down game. That's the best you can do. That's actually all you can do. You just hope he don't kind of show up for the entire game and everybody else plays the game of their lives. But you need your stars to contribute wire to wire. They can't have a donut in the second half. They can't not contribute offensively in the second half. They can't have 30 points in the first half and then not have any points in the second half. It just doesn't work because this is too good of a team. In order to beat them, you've got to stay with them because once the score gets out of control, there's no way you're catching up.
No doubt. Yeah, this is the same old Lakers. And as I was watching the game last night, I'm like, if this was a playoff series, they will get swept. Yeah. And the reason why I say that is because, number one, Anthony Davis was up and down. Well, let's just talk playoffs. Anthony Davis was up and down in the playoffs last year, right? That's the same thing that happened last night, up and down. Then I'm watching, I'm saying, okay, the coach ain't going to come out of a timeout, try to get this ball into Anthony Davis' hands, try to get him going in the second half. None of that. The coaching was the same. None of that tried to get Anthony Davis going in the ball game. Every time the Lakers came back, the Nuggets called a timeout and say, in the huddle, I remember the coach saying, let's stop playing. And they came out of the timeout and they went back up by 15. And you just clearly saw a better basketball team. Like, we can't cover it up just because it's game one. The Nuggets are clearly a better basketball team than the Los Angeles Lakers. And if it was a playoff series, from what I seen last night, they will get swept again. And we will be crazy to sit up here and just say that ain't going to happen to Anthony Davis again because that's how Anthony Davis was really all season long. And I think that's why it's the overreaction because even though it's game one, is this going to be what we're going to watch Anthony Davis do all year long? Is LeBron's minutes going to be limited to 29 minutes? You know, like, yeah, the bench players going to have to step up because if they're trying to monitor LeBron's minutes, then they really ain't going to beat the Nuggets. So for me, watching the game last night, yes, the guys that they acquired had some solid games for the Lakers. But watching the basketball game, they ain't even on the same level as the Denver Nuggets.
I won't go that far. I'll say they're not the same. They're not the same Lakers. I will say that. And I just want to go to a couple of different points from watching the game. First of all, let's talk about the starting unit. D'Lo did not play well.
No,
right?
he didn't.
At all. So that's one issue that I was like, dang, they need to see more D'Lo on the pick and roll game. That's what he's good at, the pick and roll action. They didn't get a lot of that. Austin Reeves, who's been balling out this whole last year and in the summer, he's been killing it with the Olympic team, was a no-show.
He played well.
I don't think he played well. I don't think he played well. Not that I've been seeing. I mean, the game I watched, he didn't play well last night. Did he play well last night?
I thought he played well. Active on the boards, made some shots. I thought he played well.
Nah, a lot of turnovers and scored like the clip that he's used to scoring. And the biggest point, you talked about Anthony Davis. I mean, he was battling the first half with Jokic. And then the second half, he just disappeared. Now, we've seen that before.
Yep, of course.
But not this early in the season where they needed you best. If you get swept by a team and you play them the first game, you can't wait. Oh, I can't wait to
I got to get mine.
That's it.
And then you didn't get yours. I can believe that. But this is why they're not the old Lakers to me.
Break it down.
LeBron James played well, but LeBron James didn't play a lot of minutes. As I'm watching the game, I'm like, dang, why LeBron ain't really playing much? And I get it. He'd be 39, almost 40, 39 in 2 months. So you're saving it because in the playoffs, he's going to play a lot of minutes.
Sure.
They're trying to win.
Sure.
The last part I want to say is like the new additions to the team, they're new.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're trying to fill each other out. The roles, the plays, etc. Prince played really well.
He did.
I didn't know he could. I didn't know he could shoot that well.
He did.
Right? So I do think I like the Lakers team. I actually like the Lakers depth more than like the Denver's depth. Yeah, I'm just saying if you go to the bench of the Denver, you're not gonna be picking a whole bunch of players. I mean, I'm just saying, from watching the game, I seen the mismatches with the starting fives. I didn't see a lot of great role players for the bench.
Let's wrap about it, 2-5, because you mentioned D'Lo. But remember, D'Lo in the playoffs was so bad, if you will, they had to put him on the bench. So, like, I can't trust that D'Lo is going to be this dominant. I love D'Lo. I love his game, but I love offensive scores. I can't trust that D'Lo is going to be some, like, massive contributor. So, I guess
but when he's on fire, though, when he's playing well,
no doubt about it.
They're a different team.
They are, but when he's playing bad, which we saw, you know what I'm saying?
Consistently.
I guess here it is concisely, Joy. Every issue I had with the Lakers in the playoffs versus the Nuggets, I saw last night.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what, like, the simplest way for me to put it is that. Like, D'Lo was inconsistent in the playoffs. He was inconsistent last night. AD was MIA for a period. He was MIA last night. LeBron James was on a minute restriction, but he's not getting younger, America. Yeah. So, like, he's going to be on a minutes restriction as often as possible. Why should I be hopeful?
Well, I mean, I'm always going to be hopeful with a team that has LeBron James on it. I don't care if he's 39 or not. Like, I'm not. We saying all this, and I know it didn't go well, but they were in the Western Conference Finals last year. Like, they were the second best team, regardless, in the West last year. So I'll take that as a starting point. I understand what happened in that series. It was bad. You never want to get swept, but they were there. All these other great teams were not there, and they play series to get there. It's not a single elimination type thing once you get into the playoffs. So they earned that space. So I think that's a good place to start. If they're going to get past the Nuggets, it's going to take everyone on this team playing at the highest level because they're not as good as the Nuggets right now.
And another thing is, you talked about, a great point about the Cowboys getting Stephon Gilmore for the Eagles. When I watched the Lakers, okay, you brought in Christian Woods. I'm like, before I even gave my opinion, I said, let me see how it looks. He can't do nothing with Jokic.
Nobody can.
But no, but let me say this. Nobody can, but you can slow a brother down. For example, when they beat the Nuggets in the bubble, you know what they did? They had Dwight Howard, who's big enough to at least try to contain him, beat him up a little, and then AD was helping out. So now when I look at the Lakers, like, yo, who's going to guard him? Because AD really don't want to guard him. You can see it. He don't really want to guard him. Now, you put a dude like Christian Wood, what's he going to do with him? He's like a finesse jump shooter. So that didn't add up to me. Like, they in the offseason, they made some great moves, but they didn't do the best move as far as getting the most dominant players against them.
So, James, that's my dilemma, James, is like, you play to win the game, and particularly Joy alluded to it, but LeBron James is not playing for conference finals. He was going to conference finals before he went to Miami. That's actually why he left Cleveland, is because conference finals weren't enough for him. He wanted NBA finals. To me, even if they grow, which they will, obviously, it's game one.
No doubt.
I don't know that they will grow at a more exponential rate than the Nuggets will continue to grow, because Murray's 26. Jokic is 28. They haven't even hit their prime. LeBron is 38. AD is 30. Talk to me.
And they're just a better team. Jokic is the best player in basketball right now. So unless you're going to trade for Embiid, there is nobody else that's finna go out here and be able to battle with Jokic. Anthony Davis, Christian Woods, there's nobody out there that's going to be able to battle with him. So at the end of the day, we watched last night the Denver Nuggets clearly saying we are a better basketball team than the Los Angeles Lakers. You should have hope. I know playoffs ain't LeBron's goal and all that type of stuff. It's winning championships, but this Lakers team is going to be in the playoffs. Whatever happens in the playoffs happens in the playoffs. They're going to be there. But the Denver Nuggets is on a whole different level. From Jokic, from moving the basketball to Murray, I mean, all 5 starters was in double figures, right? We want D'Lo to get involved. We want AD to get involved. We want Bron to get his. We want a lot of dudes to get theirs. But the Lakers don't move the basketball like that. It's a lot of one-on-one basketball. Get LeBron the ball up, at the top of the key. Let him try to create to find people over. The Nuggets is moving that basketball. The Warriors is moving that basketball. So a lot of dudes are getting shots. So with the Lakers, what I seen last night, if we want AD to show up in the second half, then D'Lo probably ain't going to have an impact on the game because they don't move it like that. You know what I'm saying? So last night it was very, very clear that the Nuggets is on a whole different level. I just think,
and then even like the Lakers, okay, the Nuggets, they played good, but I didn't think they played great. They were up by like 18, and they walked them all the way down.
That's the problem.
Right? So I do think the Nuggets are a better team. I just think that it could have been a better game if some of the stars would have played better. Right, it'd have been a better game.
If it was a series, I don't see how the Lakers win a game.
I think they can win a game. A game.
From what you seen last night.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's a new group. It's a new group, right? And the Jokic dominated, but he was a little rusty, though.
Exactly. That's what makes it even more scary.
All I'm saying is that if AD, he can't go over. He can't go over. It's 17 ain't enough to win.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.